Hi everybody, today we had the PUBG Xbox Spring 2018 roadmap, and we also had the PC PUBG 2018 roadmap. So I thought, as I'm an Xbox player, we'll go through the Xbox roadmap, read it, kind of see what we've got in store, and then we'll go through the PC one as well, because that's what we can expect to see probably in about 6 months' time. So first of all, hello Xbox players. Both Microsoft and PUBG Corp remain committed to delivering the best PUBG console experience possible. Over the next few months of development, we trust that you will see meaningful improvements to optimizations, new content additions, compelling reasons to play, and refinements to the overall console. The improvements and areas of focus comprise our spring Xbox PUBG roadmap. To service our roadmap, we'll be transitioning to a longer 2 to 3 week cycle in between patches, with our goal to ensure we are consistently releasing well-tested improvements to the current live version of the game. Yep, that's good. So every 2 to 3 weeks you want to see updates instead of every week, which is fine by me. Current things they're focusing on: continued performance optimizations. To put it bluntly, we are simply not satisfied with the game's current console performance, and especially so during these tense moments of on-screen action. Excellent. So, after the last patch, was it last week or was it the week before, the game became significantly smoother, but again, at times when there's lots of players in the same area, or at the beginning when you're spawning in, when you've dropped in on your parachute, you still get long loading times, you get rubber banding. Big tip though, actually, from me that isn't in this is turn off your Xbox's DVR and performance goes up loads. So they're going to optimize game characters and their movements, optimize the number of particle effects that are spawned by vehicles and grenades. Yeah, that's always a good way of speeding things up. Optimize object collision complexity, in other words, make it simpler. Balance the game work across all CPU cores to reduce streaming hitches when moving. Yeah, rubber banding is still a fact, isn't it? UI. Our goal is that PUBG stands up well when compared to other games in your collection. This comparison begins the second you boot up the game. HDR and safe zone options. The quality of individual assets, the speed at which they load, and how they react to your selections are the things we'd improve upon as we move towards creating a premium and higher quality experience. Yeah, we definitely need to work on that. Improve inventory UX. So what they're saying here is that the inventory system can be a little bit complicated. I'm pretty fast at it now, picking things up and swapping things over and putting attachments on my guns, dropping them. The only thing that sometimes you can kind of get stuck though, normally when you're trying to you're looting somebody and you're moving from looting to putting things on and taking things off, you can kind of get caught where you can't do what you want to do. Not because you haven't got enough space in your backpack, but it's just like it doesn't work out. But overall, I think it works pretty well. Improvements to console controller options. We'll be providing additional preset configurations. Yeah, definitely. I think controller binding B has been very good for me, where you have to hold the left trigger to aim down sights. And I think what I'd like to see probably is something to do with, it's only really the reload. Actually, no, there's two things. The reload, having to hold X, can be a little bit annoying. You want it faster, you just want to tap it like in every other game on console. You just tap reload and it reloads. But I'll tell you what I do notice is if there's an interruption to aiming down sights, where if you're using controller binding B, so if you pull the trigger, for example, and then you look at the map and then go back to the first person view with the trigger pulled, it doesn't notice that it goes out of aim down sight, so you've got to pull the trigger again. And sometimes if things are going on, so if your player's in the middle of an animation and you go down and you try and pull the trigger to aim down sight, it doesn't aim down sight. It's almost as though it's looking for the aim down sight flag from the trigger, not all the time. So I've noticed that, and that has got me killed a few times actually, where instead of being aiming down sight, I've been hip firing and it hasn't worked. Updates to vehicle penetration. This is quite interesting as well, because what they're saying here is that at the moment the vehicles act a bit like an extra shield for the person inside, and when that shield is gone, so when the vehicle's been damaged, it then damages people inside. So what that means is you can't on Xbox shoot people very easily through the windows to knock them out, which is kind of maybe why you get so many vehicles in the end game, and why people on PC are often shot out of vehicles, because at the moment on their build, the the game can sense, if you fire at somebody through a windscreen, it will it will take their heads off. Whereas at the moment on Xbox, it doesn't. It will treat that just as a loss of armor. They're going to give us console reporting features, so you can report people for solo teaming, team killing, game highlights, well, we've got that already, and achievements. Improving sound, that can definitely be better. We will add in-game player customization options, emotes, and more. And also a test server. In advance of major upcoming patch releases, we'll be making available to players a separate PUBG Xbox download client. Their players can participate in our latest content updates before they are moved to live. So that's cool. So very similar with Battlefield, where they've got the community test environment. We'll have a Xbox one. We can try stuff early, just like on the PC. But most importantly, the final announcement: Miramar is coming to Xbox in early spring. So that should mean before June, before summer, we're going to get the desert map on Xbox One, which is super exciting. Thank you, the PUBG development and community team. Now, what's interesting about that is this isn't from PlayerUnknown himself, Brendan Green, which the PC roadmap is. So you kind of really getting the feeling that a separate team is working on the Xbox One version, which is true. They've got people from Microsoft helping them, and also we've got no mention of anything to do with other consoles, have we? So to recap then, they recognise the fact that the game doesn't run as well as it should do on the Xbox. They're going to be working to make that much better. They're going to make the UI better. Inventory is going to be better. Improve how damage happens inside vehicles. Get a test server, and we're going to be getting the desert map. So that's super exciting, isn't it? But also, let's look at now the PUBG 2018 roadmap for PC. So on Xbox, we won't be getting this. We'll be probably about 6 months to a year behind. But basically, what they're getting is improved rendering on buildings. In fact, it looks like they're simplifying the rendering a little bit, so things render in faster. And look at this, they're getting this. We should get this on the Xbox because it would help the Xbox work better, I think. They're getting a 4x4 island. So I think Erangel, the island that we're on, I think it might be 10x10 or 12x12 kilometers, isn't it? Where this is 4x4 kilometers. This is tiny. Now, I think this is a direct response to Fortnite. Because when you're playing PUBG, you have this whole bit at the beginning, right? Unless you're a really good player and you're super aggressive, you're by yourself or with your teammates, you're looting, aren't you? And essentially that can go on for 10, 15 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes occasionally, so where you're not actually fighting other people. And then you have all this fighting, in the last sort of 5 minutes. And by having this smaller map, you get more of a Fortnite experience where basically you dive in almost every situation where you're going to any of the towns or any of the hot zones. You're going to be fighting people immediately and then fighting your way through to the circle. So you'll have much, much shorter games. So instead of half-an-hour games, we're probably going to be having 15-minute games. And I think it will look much better to stream as well, which, there's lots of people streaming now Fortnite instead of PUBG. So very exciting. And as I say, I think they should release that to Xbox early because the smaller map will put less memory stresses on the Xbox, which isn't as powerful as gaming PCs. And that should work very well. The emote system, which they did mention in the Xbox roadmap. I mean, I'm not really bothered about that, but I guess you can wave at people and do things like that. New game vehicles, they're saying. I might have gone past it, but they're also going to bring in an 8x8 map, I read as well, which is probably going to be the snow map, which would be cool. New guns, so I'm not bothered about that. Achievements, improving limb and bullet penetration, overhauling their entire third-person and first-person animation systems, and overhauling the parachuting system, improving the stability and security. Cheating is a massive problem on PC, not so much on the Xbox where the system is locked down, but on PC, obviously, you've got an open operating system, really, so people can have aim bots and run bots and all sorts of nasty things happen. Make sounds better, get things ready for esports, have custom games, and again, they're going to have a community test environment with the test server, which they've already got already. And there we go. So some very exciting things coming for the PC, namely, that 4x4 small map, which I think would be great. It'll be great for practicing your gun skills, won't it? And then the 8x8 snow map. So there we go, the Xbox 2018 Spring roadmap and the PC roadmap for 2018 as well. We've got lots of exciting things coming for PUBG, and I think what it really points out is the fact that we're going to be getting regular updates that include things more substantial than just bug fixes. Anyway, that's enough from me. Put what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again soon.